You know what I find incredibly frustrating? A whole lot of character development put into a villain. I'm talking great origin story, phenomenal dialogue, extraordinary superpowers, all that build up just to be extinguished in one anticlimactic fight scene. And it's so anticlimactic because of what I like to call the flawed final blow. This is when the hero defeats the villain with one big power move. That leaves us as the audience thinking, wait, if they could always do that, why did they wait until the end? They could have just done it at the beginning. And I always wonder why studios choose this path, because it does not do justice to the hero. Not only does it make the villain an unworthy opponent, but it also undermines the hero. Because if that's all it took to defeat the villain, then why did you waste our time? We see this in The Matrix, Wonder Woman, and even a little bit in Black Panther. And I say a little bit because Black Panther actually has some justifications for why this power move worked, which I will explain in another video. But it is the only movie that I know well enough from all these that I have mentioned, and it is the only one I could think of as I was scripting this video. After T'Challa is resurrected from the battle that he lost with Killmonger, there is no training montage, no extra power that is acquired, just some recovery and some pep talks with his team and his community before going to fight the same villain and winning with a power move. That was not a justified end for what a great villain he was, nor was it a great way to show what an amazing warrior that T'Challa was, which is why I believe Azula's SUCKY ending was such a masterpiece. If we're being fair, Azula's end seemed rushed, unfair, and it sucked. But here's why it was so perfect. Azula was not only a prodigy, she was also a hard worker. We see this dedication in the beach episode where she is practicing and Lo and Lee are giving synchronized criticism. She is practicing the same move over and over again. In this scene, we see that Azula doesn't practice to get it right. She practices until she can't get it wrong, to perfection. On the other hand, Zuko wasn't gifted and he also wasn't great at practice. In Book 2, Episode 9, Bitter Work, Uncle Iroh demonstrates how to generate and redirect lightning by channeling energy through and out of the body in a safe way. Zuko tries a few times, but then fails and he grows frustrated and he shouts, "Why can't I do it?" This man literally goes to yell at the sky to strike him with lightning so that he can prove that he's worthy. This not only shows how Zuko's anger and impatience was stopping him from growth, but it also solidified how patient and calm Azula was, because lightning was her primary form of bending. Actually, Azula's primary form of bending was blue fire, which meant that her fire burnt hotter than anyone else's. What I actually meant to say is that she could bend lightning pretty easily. We see that even at her final fight, when she's practically insane, she is still bending lightning with ease. She doesn't have to concentrate like Zuko does. And Katara was gifted, but she also slightly lacked patience. I know this will come as a shock, but Azula never actually had ego. In Book 2, Episode 8, The Chase, after chasing Team Avatar day and night because they were following the trail of Appa's shed hair, they eventually have a face-off. In the beginning, she is holding her own while fighting a tired Katara, Toph, and Aang. But when Zuko and Iroh join the fight and she is cornered, she then hits Iroh with lightning and then uses this distraction to get away. Where she sees necessary, she will play dirty, which will come into play later on. But the point of this scene is that she outsmarted both Team Avatar and Team Zuko because she is a perfect judge of knowing when she is defeated. She understood when she was outnumbered, and that is what makes her a great threat. If she was only ego, the second time they were infiltrating the Earth Kingdom, she would have attacked the same way, blatantly, because she thought she was the best. But she understood the power of the Earth Kingdom from their previous battle, so she decided to attack from within. She decided to corrupt the true power of the Earth Kingdom, which was the Dai Li, and that is intelligence. If all she had was ego, she would have gone on her own to hunt the Avatar. But she understood the mission ahead and her capabilities, so she recruited May and Ty Lee onto her side because she needed skilled but loyal fighters to help her hunt. And that's what makes Azula such a great villain. She has a full grasp on reality. Azula is not egocentric, she is confident. On the other hand, both Zuko and Katara are very egocentric. For Zuko, we see that despite Uncle Iroh always being by his side unconditionally, he says he doesn't want to live like a beggar with him. And so he leaves Uncle Iroh because he wants to go and explore on his own, because he believes he can do it on his own. And for Katara, we see it the first time she is teaching Aang waterbending. Because she took some time to pick up a certain skill, she expected him to even take longer to pick it up because she believes she is very capable. When Aang picks it up so quickly, she gets frustrated, angry, jealous, all the negative emotions. Another time we see her ego shine through is when she's pretending to be the painted lady. On the surface, it looks like she just wanted to help, but really she enjoyed the praise. Unlike Zuko and Katara, Azula had already mastered self. Her only battle was gaining love and loyalty from others. From all this, we see that where it mattered in battle or in physical and mental combat, Azula was leaps and bounds ahead of Katara and Zuko. She is not just a worthy villain, she is the ultimate villain. And that is why the only way to make her defeat valid but not too drawn out was to make her off her game, to make her insane, to somewhat level the playing field. This sucky villain defeat is the only one that makes sense, because the concept of the power move alone defeating Azula would have been very flawed. Zuko's win actually started way before their Agni. It started with Ursa, their mother, loving Zuko more. Then it was triggered further at Boiling Rock when May chose Zuko over Azula, stating that her love for Zuko was greater than her fear of Azula. And Ty Lee chose May over Azula. This is what triggered Azula's descent into insanity. Zuko had started to win without even knowing it. And on a personal front, Zuko had gone through a lot of character development. He finally knew what was important, which is his relationship with Iroh. He now even understands the importance of a team. He becomes more calm and calculated. After Ozai had decided to go burn down the Earth Kingdom as Phoenix King, it was Zuko who realized that it was dangerous to let Azula be Fire Lord, and so he realized that he had to stop her. Here is where we see another win for Zuko, because he let go of his ego. He asks Katara to go with him because he not only trusts her water bending, which balances out fire, but also her healing abilities in case anything goes wrong. He learned to accurately assess himself. We see this also when he tells Katara, I can take her this time. Not only because it's his duty, but we see that he has become more calculating and more observant to know that Azula is not at the top of her game. And Zuko's last win is one people don't talk about enough, and it's the fact that Azula tried to hit Katara with lightning. From the chase episode, we see that Katara only plays this type of dirty when she knows that she is outpowered or outsmarted. This was Zuko's final confirmation that Azula not only now saw him as a worthy opponent, but also a threat. Seeing her attack Katara was Zuko's final win, because in that action she admitted that Zuko was more powerful than her. A lot of Katara's win came from her own personal development, proving that she is just as worthy as any boy to be taught combat, but also becoming a great healer, proving that yin and yang can exist in one person. She didn't belittle any of the skills. She became what she had always wanted to be, a powerful bender and a respected healer. We also saw that she had let go of a lot of her ego when she chose to be on standby when Zuko said he can take Azula. She was willing to just be a healer, something she once thought was beneath her. And finally, Katara was always a motherly figure from the very beginning, a guardian. Even Sokka said that every time he tries to remember his mother, it is Katara's face that comes in his mind. Even when she became the Painted Lady, it's because she enjoyed being a guardian. A guardian that was, yes, ruthless to enemies, but was a protector of her people. She loved to bring balance. In this scene, we see that persona actualized. She had no personal vendetta with Azula. It wasn't her fight, but in the end, she became a guardian. And a healer, not only to Zuko, but the entire Fire Nation. She became the face or figure of justice and balance. She also finally proved to herself what a powerful bender she was, without compromising her moral code and using blood bending. Throughout this final attack, we see that she had won the battle over herself. She was calculated and composed till the very end. Azula lost by a technicality, a loophole, if you will. And why we were so satisfied with this ending as an audience is because if Zuko and Katara had won a full-blown fair fight on Sozin's comet with Azula, there is no way it would have made sense that they won. Her story reminds me of Thanos. A full-blown battle is not what they needed to defeat him. They needed a good but costly loophole. Also, seeing Azula defeated in battle like Thanos would have meant nothing. Why is because it doesn't really look like they care much about the physical body loss. As an audience, we saw Azula defeated mentally. She broke. There's just something in us that needed to see that. It was a progression from her mother to her father to Zuko to May to Ty Lee and all the way to the final physical defeat. It was the equivalent of Thanos sitting down and accepting defeat because he knew he was no longer inevitable. It's something you never saw coming. It is the ideal win, but when it happens, it is so jarring that you almost feel bad for them. In conclusion, I can say that Avatar did a really good job at teaching us that true victory and true defeat looks different for everyone. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you'd like to help me get my grandmother some dentures, and I will see you in the next video.